Right. So I think what the reason we started Gold SF is, as I recall, it's all pre-COVID, so obviously my memory's gone weird. Um, Paul and I were judging the Clarke Award together, and the Clarke Award had recently come out of a period where it had just had an all-male shortlist, and that didn't seem good enough, to be honest. And I think in conversations that we had about it, the problem was that the books weren't coming through. Yeah. So it wasn't that they were shortlisting just books by men, it was that the books by not men weren't happening. So it struck us that there probably should be another pipeline for this kind of book to come through. Does that chime with what you remember, Paul?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was very much coming out of our experience, the
Mm.
Clarke Award, and particularly also that well, we did the 2017 Clarke Award, and there we actually had a 50-50 split of
Mm.
men and women, including also a trans author in Yoon Lee, and I think it was very much that sense of we need to be establishing a channel for uh, either younger writers or
Mhm.
mid-career writers who'd become stuck, as it were, within the kind of publishing
Mhm.
sort of pipeline. And so we needed to kind of give greater opportunity and greater form for expression to those writers, so they could then gain greater public recognition as a result. But of course, it was you who brought me into contact with Sarah
Yeah.
at Goldsmiths.
Yeah. I did a talk about sort of 70s and 80s feminist utopias down at Goldsmiths as the feminist utopia as an enclave. And Sarah bounded over to me at the end and said, "We need to talk about this because I'm doing all this stuff with the Goldsmiths Press." And yeah, I mean that really was the genesis of it. We'd sensed this need for greater diversity in the kind of ecosystem, and Sarah said, "Well, this might be something that I can supply," and that's really where it started. I would like us to push more widely. I mean, we've done pretty well pushing out of the UK, but I'd like to see that expand a little bit more. I'd like to see a little bit more experimental stuff, perhaps something that's a little bit more formally transgressive or exploratory. How about you, Paul?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's definitely potential in terms of experimental writing. I
Mm,
think I would like to see more writing coming to us either from Europe or from the African and Asian diasporas.
mm,
I think we need to be reflecting the work of all women writers from whatever
mm,
sense of culture, region, sexual orientation, gender identity. I think we need to be representing all those kinds of writers because I think again, I think Goldsmiths is I think particularly well placed as a kind of a non mainstream publisher to represent that kind of greater diversity and that greater range of expressions that just needs to be heard, really.
yeah.
So we need to really be able to support all those kinds of authors and voices.
Mhm. And the spaces are there. We're always willing to look at something and to go, right, we think there's something here and we think we'd like to see more of it and work with the author to kind of get it there. I think we were pretty punchy going, tell you what, let's go straight in there and first book, let's make it a book of poetry. I think that was a that was a bold move, but that's turned out really well. And I think I mean, it's very hard as a new sort of publisher to get yourself or a new imprint to get yourself noticed. I've really felt in the past year or so that the books have started to get attention from certainly within the science fiction community. I've seen sort of reviews pop up in places and thought, oh, good, people are actually noticing that these books are out there and that they're good and that they're worth taking a look at. It's been slow. I mean, lots of reasons for that. Launching in COVID was one, I think. But I feel like it's got a little bit of sort of steady traction now.
Yeah, I mean, there's a definite momentum
Mm.
to what we've been publishing. So again, I think if we look at, say, the success of Pippa Goldschmidt's Schrodinger's Wife, which was shortlisted for the BSFA Short Story Award. I think again, if we look at a lot of the kind of recent sort of media attention around Abby Curtis' the Headland, I think we're getting a lot of really good notice, lots of good recognition. Again, going back to Jessie Randall's first book, Mathematics for Ladies, that sold over 1,400 copies, which is a massive bestseller for
Mm.
any poetry collection from any kind of press. So I think we're really connecting to a number of different kinds of demographics and different kinds of audiences. And I think, yeah, I think this is a really, really important. I think it's a really fruitful time for writers to come to approach us
Mm.
and to see what we can do with their work, because I think we're in a really good place to promote their writings.
And feminist SF has always been at that. It's always straddled those sort of multiple intersections, isn't it? So you could pick
Yeah,
one of these book ups, like Abby's book, you could pick that up and read it as a literary novel. If the science fiction title, you kind of go, oh, well, I like that. Well, the chances are you probably will, because they're good books.
I think one thing I say is that we really love these writings. We love these books.
Yeah,
They are beautifully curated. I mean, just if you look at any of our titles, like online, you can see the attention we put into them, the beautiful covers that are produced by the press, the
yeah,
beautiful layout, the format. These are beautifully curated texts. We care about these writings, and
yeah.
we feel that readers should care about them too. So.
Absolutely. And take a look at them and if you've got a book there that you've been working on and you think, do you know what? I think this might fit here and I've not been able to see where this could go, then try us. We'll take a look. We'll be interested. We'll want to know what you're doing.
Yeah, absolutely.